Welcome to 845. Let's get started.
I've been through it all, through the highs and the lows.
On today's show, let's talk about how why the truth sounds so harsh to people living in an illusion. See, the truth always seems hard to people that are living in an illusion because the illusion is based on their it being their way, going the way that they want to go. And the problem with that is it doesn't always work that way because one, we're in a society with other people who want things to go their way too. But for it to be fair, we need everybody to be able to live in a certain amount of truth. If we're all living in our delusion or an illusion, something that's not real, then it throws off the flow. It throws off the flow of things. It's like ignoring your uh your gas meter. If it says you're on empty, that means you need to get to a gas station. That's the truth right there. But if you're like, it doesn't matter. That just cause the ease on the lights on my car doesn't mean nothing. Cause I still just want to go do what I want to do. But the problem is once you run out of gas, and if you stop in the middle of the road, now you're throwing off everybody else's day. Now they're stuck because there's a car broke down in the middle of the road. You see what I'm saying? So that means when you're living in your truth, that means, yeah, this sucks. I hate to have to get off the highway and go do what I got to do because I want to go do what I want to, I want to go do what I want to do. I don't feel like spending money, so I'm not going to get gas. That's living in an illusion. Like the truth is going to happen regardless of what you make up in your head about the situation. There's always a truth. And closer you can live towards the truth or in your truth, smoother life will go, but you're still going to have to face situations that are uncomfortable because the truth comes with uncomfortable realizations because we're going to have to step out of our comfort zone to acknowledge the truth. But once you acknowledge the truth and deal with it, then the rest of your life will go a lot more smooth than living in a delusion or illusion by ignoring the truth. Because the truth is always at the end. Even if you ignore the truth, at some point you're going to have to acknowledge it, or else the same situation's going to keep coming up. And sometimes you wonder, like, why wouldn't somebody want to live in the truth? Because the illusion, it feels better. And a lot of people they'd rather go off of their, enjoy the feelings instead of the facts. It's a temporary win. Temporary. Because you're like, I can drive with my light on, my gas light on, until I get to wherever I'm going. Yeah, you get there, coast there with your light on, have fun. There's a temporary win. Now, when it's time to go home and you run out of gas, now the truth is still there. Now you have to figure out what you're doing. Now it's dark. Now you're trying to, you're ready to go home to finish doing whatever you want to do, but you can't even get home now. And those are just normal situations. Now imagine when you have to hear the truth about who you are. That's when it becomes an issue because there's a lot of things that are involved. Now it's internal. It's not like your car running out of gas. This is things we have to change. The truths we have, the uncomfortable truths we have to look at. And then you wonder why don't want people want to change who they are or things about themselves if it makes them better. One, people don't even realize that it makes them better because there's a lot of people that don't even want to acknowledge the truth. The reality that they live in is based on the illusion. So they live in the delusion. And then you might even ask the question, well, how could somebody live in delusion? And why is the truth so important to others? And delusion somebody else could live in, because both of them can exist at the exact same time. Here's your truth, and so a lot of people live in that. And here's delusion, a lot of people live in this. How does it work? It's consequences. You can live in delusion if there's no consequences, if nobody puts the consequences on you. But for some people, they have consequences. That's why they have to operate in truth. Because if you want to run around in a illusion, just believing what you want to do, acting the way you want to act, normally somebody would say, hey, you can't do that because it's starting to affect everybody else that's trying to coexist in this society together. And if one set of people, or just some people have consequences, then they're the ones that are kind of accommodating other people, which is nothing wrong with that. Because if we want to go to the same space, you want somebody to act right. I want to be able to sit down in a restaurant and chill and just eat my food without having to look over my shoulder and see what's happening, see what's going on, because there's a person in the restaurant that doesn't have any consequences, so they can act like a wild person or animal, whatever. There's nobody to rain down any consequences like, hey, if you keep doing this. But the bottom line is you can do this stuff, do whatever you want to do at home, but when you come out in public, act like there's some truth out there because there's other people involved. But the bad part about not practicing truth in your home is you'll be out of habit. When you do it in home, at your house, it should be a habit. Because you can't act like an animal in your home and then walk outside and just be a normal person. It's going to bleed over, you know what I mean? It's going to bleed over. So it's good to practice living in your truth, not. And there's times to go into an illusion, a video game. Okay, yeah, let's play a video game. But when you start thinking a video game is your life, then that's where the problem comes in. Then you might ask, well, why do some people have consequences and some people don't have consequences? this can get a little deep. It could be a way of leveling the playing field, because it's kind of a way of cheating. You know, if everybody's following the same set of rules and say somebody's good, then they're gonna, you know, the people that are falling behind, they need a way to catch up. So if this person that's good at running this race does a false start, takes off before the, you know, before the start goes off, then that's a it's a problem. That's a consequence. Now you're disqualified. So this person has to make sure that they follow that rule if they want to keep racing. But there's some other people that can put metal spikes on the bottom of their shoes. They can take performance enhancements and get busted. And then there's an excuse why it was okay and why they could have done that and why, you know, we shouldn't really worry about that. We need to look the other way. Why does that person get to live in that illusion and the other person has to live in the truth of following the rules? It's to keep it leveled. They need to keep things level. We can't have too many people being too good. And then on top of it, if we put consequences on people that are falling behind that would actually make them stronger, then we'd have too many strong people. We'd have way too many strong people because it's competition and anxiety. You get better competing. We can always put consequences, and consequences aren't bad. It's nothing wrong with that. It's how you look at it. It's how you look at it. And I mean, back in the day, everybody had to follow a certain set of rules for the most part. But now it's like, all right, one group can run free and live in your illusion. The other group has to, you know, play by the rules. The reason why the one group has to play by the rules because somebody has to get things done. In truth, it has to be the only way you can actually make things happen is by getting things done. And in truth, if a water pipe breaks under the street and there's water going everywhere, we can't live in a illusion and be like, that's not really happening. It's just whatever, something that doesn't know. The water's gonna keep leaking, keep wasting until we do something about it. As simple as that. It's gonna be a problem until we fix it and look at it and be like, yeah, we need to stop this water. That's where the truth is. And that's just an analogy. That's just a situation. But there's a lot of stuff in people's life. They're like, let me act like this isn't happening. That means it's not happening. No, it's happening. And why would people let somebody continue to believe that? Even your friends will help you live in a delusion or you know, an illusion, something that's not real. And some people would say, well, because we don't want to hurt their feelings. So would you rather hurt somebody's feelings up front? It's almost like if somebody has like a booger in their nose or something. Would you rather me tell you you have a booger in your nose right when I see it, or for you to wait till you get home at the end of the day and look in the mirror and realize you've had this booger in your nose and you've been walking around crazy all day? And the truth also seems a little harsh to people because when you tell somebody, well, right at this moment, is so much confusion. If you tell somebody something to try to help them, they automatically think that you're just don't like how they're maneuvering, how they're navigating. They take it as hate instead of like, yo, somebody's trying to, help you and, hey man, maybe don't drink, don't party so hard, don't do this, don't do that. And they take it like, hey, the people will take it as, you don't want me having fun and living my life. And it's not necessary. That's somebody being a friend. I guess a big thing would be is accountability, Having consequences would have to flow into being accountable. For yourself, you have to live in a truth. But I'll catch you next time.